see much of the weather.
It's kind of fun to be able to do some of it together too.
So I'm sure
It'll be here.
Hi, Mum.
Coffee.
Oop.
Did you sign up?
You don't have to sign, you just have to put an order form in the box. You don't even have to use this.
Oh, I see.
And they deliver your tickets to your cabin.
Oh, so when we get
Yeah, they said that.
Oh,
She's girl said you don't need your card over there. Just
no, you just have to stick it in the box and don't fold it.
don't fold it. You not fold it?
Nope, it says don't fold it.
You want me to put it in there?
There was less viewing of the wildlife from the park road. So that's why the National Park Service decided to restrict the road to private vehicles. And so it's been a great system. Closest to us, but a little bit further. Yes, the park puts that on. The researchers and
Wait, I'm pressing and nothing's happening. I just pressed, nothing
I was thinking if we get late, we'll be late. That's not a problem. And if we're out late, I'm going to take a picture at 11 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. But I think I'm going to be out.
We're going to be eating at a reasonable hour, so
We took one at 10:05 this morning.
maybe when we get to Fairbanks, we
I
can
took
have
one
ice cream.
10:15 last night. And we were up till 11. I was really tempted to. But I figured, well, we'll get another one another day.
Certain things about desserts. What's the dessert?
It's what we had for lunch.
We had lunchtime dessert, but it'll probably be different tonight. Lunchtime
Did
dessert.
you come all the way from Anchorage? You were all the way from Anchorage?
Well, they asked.
You know how long you're going to be on? Find me at the entrance right here. So smooth to me just before 4 o'clock.
I have no idea. You did? That's good.
They're falling right into this trap.
Okay, I got some water for you. And would you care for a Coke, right?
He wanted diet.
Okay, that's fine. I'll bring it
So
down.
you coach swimming?
I do.
Good on you, Ella. You're a woman of style.
Whatever else you want her to be, too.
Quick off the mark, too.
Whatever gets her a tip.
I can do a clean up.
So does coaching have anything to do with you being here, or you just here for fun?
Do you take
Surface. You go down to Surface Paradise, the Gold Coast.
Gold Coast or the Sunshine Coast.
Don't have your phone. And the water's crystal clear. We have really gold like around Ice diving.
No, I just like looking at the expression on your face.
We were in the Cayman Islands last year in the water.
Right under the big bridge.
It's that a video camera.
Crystal clear. And a lot of Australians work there.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Coal mine over here on the 3 o'clock side. It's one of the most productive coal mines going. Even if we can only get 10% of the recoverable coal here, there's enough coal to keep the United States going for 15,000 years at its current consumption rate. And one of the nice things about Ustabela coal is it's relatively new geologically, which means it's got a real low sulfur content. It's a very clean burning fuel. It doesn't have to be treated in order to come up our higher things from eroding. And when they did that, about 150 mountain goats moved into the area.
Thanks, we've got Canadian money.
Oh my. Alright. Are we there yet?
Okay, now we're coming up on here at the confluence of the Nanana and the Tanana River. It's actually a really important part for our commerce here. As you can see, we've got stuff stacked up all over here. There's a barge and port right there. There's that tugboat. That's a tugboat. But a lot of barges come through here. Now, it can be called the Nanana-Tanana split, or we do it. I ruined it. See, I got an audience here, and all of a sudden I don't do so well. The confluence of the Nana or the Tanana, or we can call it the Nanana split. There you go. Okay. This is the courtesy lap I was telling you about for Ella. Yeah. All right.
End of track.
It was that way going.
Oh, I was going to say better not be.
That's the road out.
End of track.
It's 3 pounds long.
That's right.
It's part of the experience. It's called the Yukon experience. This is a nice place to stop.
The suffix "na" actually means river in some of the native languages of Alaska, and so you won't hear us say the Susitna River. We'll just say the Susitna because the "na" on the end of it actually means river, so it takes care of it for us.
That's it? That's it? I'm waiting for it.
Another interesting trivia. 50s doo-wop singers.
Okay, and see right there where it says the Nanana Ice Classic? That's a big deal up here in the state every year. You get a little stir crazy in the wintertime. A little.
That's a good thing. I think we're waiting about August. I'm going to jump out here right now and kind of adjust my mirror a little bit. Make it a nice, easier ride on it.
Wow, that's close.
Yeah,
Yeah, we seen him when it was quite distant. See him good, but it was distant.
yeah, they get up there pretty close, and then the one rest area that you stop where it kind of drops off on there.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times they're right underneath the road. You guys see any? Yeah, you saw any caribou?
Oh yeah, quite a few.
Anybody see any wolves?
No wolf.
Those are hard. Boroughs, which are like counties or parishes down in the lower 48, and the whole population of the boroughs is about 68,632, give or take a few people.
Is this Main Street?
This would be, and then what pays a lot of our taxes too is they have what's called the permanent fund dividend, where they took money from the oil pipeline and then they invested it. Also, we make money off of the. Is that the riverboat 840 grand?
What?
No, we're not going to ride this one to Tokyo.
The riverway, but it's just about a mile down the roadway, the street, if you want to get your bus drivers to drop you over there later on. Anyway, that's just a quick overview. We will be turning the boat down here to the Tanana River, the Yukon, and all the way to the Bering Sea, or even up into Canada. That barge in the mud right over there, which has been operated by the Episcopal Church, victories at the end of the Iditarod. Interesting thing about the Iditarod, you know, they run 100 miles a day for 10 days on end. Watch her running up the hill here. Now, think about this. Those dogs get fed up to 6 times a day. They are cared for probably better than most human beings are cared for working under those.
And although their eyes are shut for the first 10 days of their life, we blow across their noses and they start to get a sense of us right from the beginning. And that trusted relationship starts right then. By the time they're 5 weeks, we start on their daily walks. We have a trail that goes through the woods here. We can go anywhere from 2 to 7 miles. And we usually take their mothers, some of the older retired dogs. We're trying to teach them the same love of adventure that we have. And we have obstacles for them to go over. Some big logs to climb over. There's a little bit of water to swim through. And when they're very young, those are big obstacles. So we're there to encourage them over it, praise them when they get to the other side. But most importantly, if they can't get over it, we're there to lift them over it. And this way, they learn that we will be there for them at every stage in their life. And most importantly, when they start racing and when they start training with us in harness, they can understand that we'll never ask them to go any farther or faster than they're capable of.
Well, and speaking of training and getting into harness, at what point will these little guys get out there and begin to learn some of those pulling skills?
Well, it's not that far off now. About 2 months. They'll be around 5.5 months old. We'll take one adult leader and put them out in front and the 6 puppies behind. And it's so instinctive that these guys will pull that within just a minute or two, they look like a small adult team of dogs. We actually have a saying here at the kennel that it only takes us 2 minutes to teach them to go, but 2 years to teach them to go.
The antler comes right down into the snow, right to the end of his nose there. There are no trees, so they have to eat off the ground, and for much of the year they have to dig through the snow. And that antler extension is actually a natural adaptation. We call it a show. And you see how they graze? Well, if there are 6 or 8 or 10 inches of snow or more on the ground, as they move their heads back and forth, looking for things on the ground, that part of the antler is helping shovel the snow out of the way. Pretty interesting natural adaptation. Now they grow their antlers back every year. They shed them. They go through a natural cycle. As you can see, she's got a nice little start on right there. She sheds hers after the birth of the calf. And so, as part of the continuing cycle, she just does it a little bit differently than the males. The other direction. Now we have entered the Tanana River. This is an uncontrolled river. There is a little bit of protection around public works projects, but other than that, there are no dikes, dams, levees, or locks to control the flow of this river. It originates up in the Alaska Range. It's about 500 miles long, and it runs like a fretwork of backwaters, channels, islands, and mud bars to harvest the salmon. We want them to escape, so we have a permit from the state of Alaska that allows us to keep that fish wheel in operation. demonstrate how it works, but we promise not to eat the fish we catch. The salmon, by the way, won't be up here until late June or even July, so some distance away. Now let me point out some interesting things about the beaver. Remember we saw the beaver up the street, we saw the beaver house? All these trees over here have been cut down. Bill Johnson was taught how to fly by his father, who was a commercial bush pilot. You can see those little airplanes can get in and out of tight places pretty easily, and in fact, it wasn't that.
Oh, it is? Heck, I can slice meat.
The one is a full-size adult, that's a female, and then the other one is a yearling.
Look at him eat.
You guys all get a picture of them? Good sighting, they didn't take off. Standing right over there in the brush.
Hmm? Oh yeah, I'm taking it now. I haven't seen the other one, but I got that one.
They'll be running that yearling off pretty soon. In the interior of Alaska, but they're so minor that you don't feel them. But every once in a while you'll get one that'll knock your socks off. This is the Delta area here to our right. It's where the Delta River feeds into the Tanana River. We're going to make a picture stop here. I don't believe in casting up the pipeline. And then it's just a couple of minutes around Cerritos Roadhouse. It might be the same one. He was governor of California at one time. It might be the same one. There's some politics up here. But this, the Richardson was opened, like I said, in 1903 and then brought up to standards in 1927 for automobiles.
The PRA first selected 5 management construction companies, who then hired smaller individual Canadian. The men working on the highway dubbed the road the Oil Can Highway because of the hundreds of empty gas and diesel fuel drums scattered along the road. A lack of spare parts and the difficulty in making repairs were problems faced by both the Army and the civilian contractors.
It's about a 6 to 8 inch thick door, the way it's made. It's got a little 1 foot door, or 1 foot window right in the center of it. I was standing there during the beat, glanced over out the window. With black bear nosed up to the door. Oh, God.
He's looking at, looks like he's starting up. Now you'll see all along that they have what they call holding ponds, because once you dredge and you get all the silt stuff stirred up, you've got to have a holding pond or a settling pond to let all the silt settle back down before the water can go back. There's absolutely no mining allowed on this river on the Alaskan side, but on the Canadian side they do mine on it. It's a very rich river, they know that, they know there's a lot of gold in it, but because it's a wild and scenic river, it's not allowed. No mining is allowed on it. And I don't know how many of you have motorhomes, but I'm a real advocate on anybody that has a motorhome that's over 16 feet has to have a special driver's license. The same driver's license that I have to drive this thing. You have to pass that CD.
border. The
Canadian border. Trumpet has won many awards here in Canada for his work. Captain Al has quite a few of his carvings.
Not very good, but it's supposed to be able to see what you're shooting. That's nice, huh? Then you can play it back.
And they started on another creek called Rabbit Creek, which is what we're following. And they weren't really doing any major prospecting, but they killed a moose, had a good dinner of moose, and you'll hear a variety of versions. George Carmack gets the credit for the discovery, and he claimed to have discovered it. But Dawson Charlie and Skookum Jim always different.
I'll take it with this. This is the big bus we are going to take from Dawson City to Whitehorse. We'll be on this big bus. It's articulating in the middle to get around the sharp curves, and we will be on this bus for I think about 6 hours.
9 hours.
And they also have a place where you can relieve yourself in the back. They have a tube going out the back and they splatter along the road. That's a good deal. We will now board. This is the bottom of the valley, and this is where the great big dredges once scooped up the gravel for the gold. Miles of it. So they took out about $500,000 worth back in 1906, somewhere in there.
Let's do a still camera.
Hey, you don't even look, you put it way up here.
Oh, wow.
That's 8mm too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice ring.
That's a neat one now.
And then you can show your tapes. It's like a VCR too.
Well, you can just take what you want, right?
Yeah, you can show them right off of that.
Well, that might come up with that too. You've got that old RCD and then you want to,
Yeah, I got the big size. So I figure when this one conks out, I'm gonna get me a smaller one.
That's a nice one, huh?
No, not that I've never seen it.
You can put it anywhere and see what you get.
Yeah.
You don't have to look at the viewmaster or whatever.
No.
Has it got the
It's got the date on there too, right?
Yeah, the date, the time.
What is it?
I think it does, doesn't it?
How many pictures it takes? I don't know. It's like the rest. I think it's a light.
So last night, while I was having dinner, we were going to have dinner about 8 o'clock because I expected or about 7 o'clock, I expected the Yukon Queen about 6:30 or so, and I was hoping I could catch up with her at about 7:30. Well, 7:30 rolled around, it still wasn't there, and we were both starving, so we went off to dinner. save that till tomorrow.
Yeah, that was it for tomorrow.
You all feel warm enough?
Right. I could take the cool temperature.
Both hovering right at about 70 throughout the coast.
Yeah, that should be comfortable.
That'd be all right. Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but I know it's just to pull on the engine.
Actually, the lay of the land.
Out of the way here.
This is the Stewart River, by the way, that we're crossing. One of the main tributaries of the Yukon. Mr. Ford was living in Denver at the time, and he told Soap he completely dominated him. In fact, he bought out. You like that word? Intermittent. Yeah, that reminds me of a joke a fella told me on the last coach. He was great. He said, why don't we get okay.
What is it? I don't know. Has a sweet smell. You wait till you go to the house. Mastodons on your left.
Isn't that something they found these up here in these mountains? Those animals.
Oh, there's a lake. There's the floodplains.
Look at the floats.
Yeah. 2940 up. Yeah, quite a bit.
When it goes to zero, I think we're all done.
Turn it off.
Thanks.
Yep.
7.
Well, that's 7:45, right?
at glaciation in action become more and more prevalent 1,000 years ago. So look at fissures as a result of the colder temperatures, that the seas dropped enough that we had a connection between Siberia and Alaska. Always seemed. You can see one of the last stern wheelers on our left that very sadly got burned by arson only just recently, and they were refurbishing it, going to make it a museum up here. That was Caribou Hotel, one of the oldest hotels. It doesn't quite go back to the gold rush because it burned down and then they rebuilt it. I just heard a story in this last night in Whitehorse, that, you know, that crazy ice and broom game. Now I've heard, I've sometimes come through here and people look at these homes and all the junk laying around and oh my word, but you just don't throw things away up here if you can find another use for them.
Full of junk, that yard.
Here's a little school. That's a cute house, isn't it, with the fireweed painted all over it? And that's typical entryway on these older homes. It became a ghost town. It's called Conrad City. Now it's this general store here. There was a silver mining up in Conrad City, and that lasted about 12 years, and the ore was not quite adequate for the price for the anything goes. The places along the roadway, people use those big burls for decoration. And I've heard a variety of things, or a slight change in aspect, giving them protection from the wind or more sun, or
I can't see.
And thus, even up high, if they get more sun, the snow will melt more readily. And Skagway is real easy to manage. There's just a few blocks, and the docks are right there. And there are shuttle buses in town where you can, I think, pick up a little ride.
Oh, no, it's all right.
Yeah, that's where they went. The water down there.
The area below us was named Dead Horse Gulch, and by that time the gold rush was over. It really only lasted a few years, from the earliest strikes in 1896, and then by 1901 people began leaving Dawson in droves to head. We were up at the summit at just under 3,000 feet. We were right up at tree line, so the trees don't grow above the altitude of the summit. Army took over Skagway and took over the railroad for about 4 years during the war, and the railroad was the
There we go.
feet, and look for the gravesite. Look for that little black wooden cross.
Might be some again that's coming up. What was they made a built a highway along there. Wow. Black cross. Where is it?
Oh, I didn't see it.
And that happened in August of 1898. So that's a memorial to the 35 men that lost their lives while working on the railroad. Now, at first, the railroad offered free transportation to workers that wanted to come up and build the railroad, and they offered an unusually high rate of pay at that time, which was 30 cents an hour. But they soon found out that men would take the free transportation, get to Skagway, and then there's one smaller waterfall that comes up just before it. So you should know it when you get to it. It's very big.
Was right underneath the track.
Right up there is the White Pass The customs building was placed just a few miles below the summit on the highway to keep it out of the extreme weather at the summit. And for us on the railway, we have to go through customs when we come to Jersey Skagway that remember the Buchanan boys and girls. But when they painted those letters, they had to go down. And of course they charged the toll. They were charging going through a cut in the rock. Now this area required major blasting to get through all this solid granite. When we come...
Oh, baby. So that's the track there we want to go over? I bet it is. Yeah.
Looking back, just on the other side of the river, you might notice that there's a little red caboose off in the trees. Just on the other side of the river there, but it comes up on this.
It don't look too safe for me. Part of it's wood. There it is.
Now again, when we come into the depot, everyone needs to stay inside the cars, and the customs officer will come on board the train, starting in the first car, and work their way back. And then when the whole
Look at the
train
buses
is
over
cleared,
there.
then we can allow people to
Okay.
step
Yeah,
on
they're
the
waiting
train.
for us.
Yeah, you don't think they're going to have any on the...
This big red building on the right is the White Cast shops. Now we're 1,000 miles from the closest supply base of Seattle, so we have to be quite self-sufficient here. And inside the shops right now, we have our last operating steam engine. It should be out of the shop shortly because it's scheduled to not only escort trains around town as it does every summer, but it's scheduled to take 7 trips up and over the summit all the way to Lake Bennett this summer. Now something else to look at right down at the depot is our steam-powered rotary snowplow. It was built back in 1898 and it's been fully restored here at the shop a couple of years ago. They do still use it, and this spring it was taken up about the 20th of March to plow the snow
Quite a rail
all the way
yard
up to
there.
Fraser where you got on the train.
Quite a rail yard, isn't it? Man.
And coming up on the right is the yards where we keep all of the cars that we're not using on any given day. Some days, though, we have 4 trains running. You'd be surprised at the numbers of people that ride this train. Last summer, 175,000 people rode this train. And we're expecting this year in Skagway 600,000 visitors. Well, we have 45 of these cars, and on busy shift days when there's 5 shifts in town, we fill these cars right up. We do have 14 diesel-electric locomotives, and then that one last operating steam engine. The oldest car we have was built in 1883, before this railroad was even constructed, and we have quite a large collection. These 45 cars come from 15 different railroads across the country.
Just turn this, or just push a button.
And you're right next door again to the National Park Visitor Center. Well, you want to check around for all your personal belongings?
Oh, what's the name of it?
I can't see.
Get him out.
Missed it. Gotta be quick.
You never know what you find on the streets of Skagway.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the street. like a quick with his hands, so he could change the you know, he's a quick. The word has left my mouth. I can't remember the name of it, but quick exchange artist there. And what he would do is he would tell everybody, but he had this special soap that he would sell, of course, for a ridiculous price of $5.
So they take the city bus because they're spending all their money on repairing their boats instead. All these stores we're going to come past up here, they used to be downtown stores and now are considered up there, finish their migration off into the... Over here you'll see a sign that says Married Man's Trail. This is the back door to Dolly's house. A lot of people heard of other houses. I don't even remember any of them. There's too many. And over here you will see some of the spots.
Forget the books, get the cash.
Project goal was to in front of the plant house and then identified who lived there, who their mother was, and what family they originated from. So it's a genealogy type of goal.
Over here is Thomas Street. This is another one of our corduroy streets. The harbor that you see is one of the most well-protected harbors in Southeast Alaska.
gets it out of the way.
有啊，郑宇是啊，每郑宇是啊，我们又不自己什么。
Still no bingos yet in the G column 53. Wow. I heard like 5 bingos. Yes? Come on, if you have a bingo, come to the person next door.
Your attention please, this is a final call for all red colored luggage tags, a final call for white number 7, and a first call for white number 9. Once again, that's white number 9. You may proceed ashore at this time using the gangway located on main deck. Once again, that's white number 9.
There's a hotel right here.
Where?
Oh, like trolley cars.
Oh, we'll find out here. We'll take. Is that it here?
Well, we haven't seen a big city like this for a long time.
How long were you going through?
Well, we were on it for 4 days, but then we had come up through Anchorage and Fairbanks and all those dinky towns in this town.
Yeah, no matter how far north or east or west you travel, you can't get rid of traffic.
Traffic, yeah.
You may be able to get rid of stress, but not traffic.
I don't either. No, I'm not used to it yet. Great, now it's raining. I think it's because I'm in a...
It was about 100 years ago or so that it was struck by lightning, burning out the inside core of the tree. As you can see, the tree is now dead, but as it decays, it provides minerals and nutrients to some of the other growing trees.
These boats.
Point once again, folks, used as a military outpost in World War II. There were actually 2 cannons manned here and facing English Bay, here on your right-hand side.
These boats are waiting for their turn to come in.
Yes, these boats are waiting for their turn to offload their barges. Alrighty folks, we're currently traveling over the Burrard Street Bridge, named after Captain Henry Burrard, first officer and mate of Captain George Vancouver. This particular bridge was constructed in 1932 and has never actually been replaced. It's just been improved ever since. The particular bridge ran over the old Expo 86 site of the World's Fair held here in 1986. As we travel over the Cam Street Bridge, folks, you'll get a good view of the British Columbia Place Stadium, home to the Canadian Football League team, the British Columbia Lions. That particular stadium was constructed in 1983 at a cost of $126 million. Has a seating capacity of around 60,000 people. The big white roof you see is inflated. The cables that you see on that white roof are there to keep the roof from floating away. Upon completion of the stadium, that roof was inflated in 1 hour by 16 fans beside the 747 Boeing engine. It only needs 1 fan to keep it inflated, but they always have 2 or 3 going for safety reasons. If you look over to your right-hand side right now, you'll also notice the silver golf ball-like structure known as Science World. Science World opened up at night.
Vancouver Island. We finally made it. It's pretty nice. Got here on time. We're heading right now for Butchart Gardens. And as we head for Butchart Gardens, we're going to take the scenic route. Gives us a chance to see a little bit of the countryside. This is a beautiful island. It's about 300 miles long. It's mostly made up of farms. They have very I had the opportunity to stay there one night. Of course, I couldn't eat, couldn't have anything to drink because I couldn't afford it. And I said, no. I'm good at that. Very long. I don't know. Indians. But it has a purpose, and the purpose is, have you ever heard?
Man, one of these cartridges lasts for, what, an hour and a half?
I think it's 2 hours.
Huh?
2 hours.
Oh, you couldn't even use one up on a trip.
You haven't even used one.
Mm-mm.
20,000 actually got there.
Yeah.
2,000 made any money at all and
Yeah.
pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
10 of them became millionaires and kept it.
Yep.
But you know who the real rich people were? The ones who sold the shovels.
That's right.
Right.
And the packed supplies.
And the claim. Suppliers.
Absolutely. Here, this is where Seattle made it.
South satellite, all exits, and international arrivals. 次は南サテライトに止まります。It is a federal regulation that will carry on luggage placed under the seat in front of you or in an overhead bin for all taxi, takeoff, and landing. This must be accomplished before we can close the door. If you are having a problem stowing any of your items, please bring them to the forward boarding door or contact the flight attendant. We'll be happy to have them checked for you.
Okay. 66.
All right.
We just come from Alaska.
Wow. Thank you. What is that? Is that a camcorder? Is that a video camera?
Oh, yeah. This is, yeah.
Wow. Never seen
Yeah,
anything
this here
quite
is
like that.
This one here you can
Interesting.
see this one here you
Oh,
can
wow.
see what you're taking. See that?
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Watch, we'll get that guy there. We'll get the goods on him. He's numb. He's numb.
Yeah, he's kind of a stern man.
Yep.
That's a pretty nice little.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
My wife bought that for me for, I don't know, Christmas or for birthday or somebody.
Oh, wow.
Pretty nice outfit.
Yeah.
It took me quite a while to learn how to run it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of things you can do with it. And,
Yeah.
And etc.
And what size are the videotapes? Do you have to transfer them over to VHS then, right?
No, you can there's an attachment on here, you can put it right on the TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
You're not waiting for a plane.
Yep, you can put it right on the TV.
Ah, that's
Good night, I only used this one tape on the whole trip.
Oh.
We still got time left.
Really? Wow.
Another 90
That's
minutes.
amazing how much that technology has changed. Even I remember a few years ago how large the camcorders were. That's about the size of a regular photo camera.
Yeah. Boy, this is a big airport.
Oh yeah, it certainly is. 1-8.
Excuse me, you coming back this way?
Maybe. There's carts coming for you. 30 to 66.